I'm gonna be doing Caleb's myth story now. I'm really nervous. Lucid dream. At the far end of the shelter, our paradise has long since closed its doors. Okay, I'm excited to do this because I really want to learn more about Caleb's mind and like the reason why he is the way he is. So I'm hoping this kind of goes into that. I'm nervous. Okay, let's start. In the dark, warm quagmire, a vicious substance slowly dissolves. My body regains a sense of boundless weightlessness. My consciousness stirs as sunlight filters through my blurred vision. Where am I? This place feels familiar. How did I end up here? Gentle footsteps echo outside. They're followed by the soft creak of the door opening. Hi, Caleb.
Your fever's gone down. Just have some more rest. I asked the association if you could take sick leave. So, whether you want to rest at home or walk outside for the next few days, I'll be by your side.
What are you talking about? Sunlight streams over the windowsill, yet the familiar face before me appears as if he's submerged in dark water.
It's okay. It's okay if you forget. Even if you don't remember anything, I can always say it again.
He lowers his head and gently grasps my hand, his gesture almost tinged in reverence.
I'm Caleb. I'll always be...
A buzzing noise suddenly fills my mind and overwhelms other sounds. I shake my head and touch my forehead. There's a thread-like crimson wound on the inside of my arm. My mind feels sluggish. It's as if something important that shouldn't have been forgotten was buried beneath a veil of empty ambiguity. What happened? "10 days ago.
Dear passengers, we have arrived at Sky Haven. Please ensure that you take all your belongings with you as you exit in an orderly fashion."
Dragging my luggage, I walk out of the train station and recall the route I took before. As I find a fast food restaurant to the left of the exit, I take a picture. Guess where I am right now? You're in Sky Haven? Yes. I turn off my phone screen and shift my gaze. The fast food restaurant's glass wall reflects my silhouette. The last time I came to Skyhaven was for work 2 months ago. I secretly infiltrated the Farspace fleet so I could investigate the whereabouts of an ether core fragment. Okay, so this is 2 months after the main story chapters. Caleb's main story chapters. During that mission, Caleb, who became the fleet's colonel, reappeared before me. Immense joy plunged me into a bubble of reclaiming what I had long lost. However, as time passed and I learned more, Caleb's changed behavior and attitude distanced him from the image in my memory. Though we've recently found a new way to get along, I still can't help but wonder what secrets lie hidden behind that unfamiliar colonel's uniform.
Turn around.
Hi.
You should have given me a heads up. Still like to do surprise attacks, huh?
He got here quick. You always appeared in Lincoln without telling me in advance. Why can't I do the same thing? But you were quick to show up. Caleb, you already knew I was visiting, right?
Or maybe I was so excited after I saw your message that I stepped on the gas.
Speeding and knowingly breaking the law. I hope you know what your crime is, Colonel.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for you to arrest me.
Caleb takes the luggage from my hand and gestures for me to follow him.
Have you eaten yet?
I was planning to drop off my luggage at the hotel first. Caleb, aren't you supposed to be on duty today?
What about you? You got a day off and decided to take a trip to Skyhaven?
Half a month ago, the Hunters Association assigned a special mission. The Farspace Fleet requested a hunter's assistance in detecting metaflux for one of their secret missions. For work and to be closer to Caleb, I secured this opportunity. I made sure to arrive in Skyhaven one day before the mission starts. Our shadows begin to meld together as we walk. I hesitate before deciding to keep this to myself for now. Yeah, I took a day off to see you. You should be teary-eyed since that's the next step in the protocol. In the docking area, Caleb stops beside his personal aircraft.
Since you came all the way here for me, you need to play along with my plan now. Let me take you somewhere first.
His home. 10 minutes later, I stare at the familiar scene before me. I'm speechless. Caleb, if I'm not mistaken, this is your house.
You're not seeing things. I gotta respond in kind to your surprise.
The door creaks as it closes behind him. He slightly leans forward, and the necklace I gave him sways.
Someone had planned a business trip to the Farspace Fleet well in advance. But they kept it so under wraps that I had almost no clue.
I see some people just let the cat out of the bag. Now it's your turn. Why did the fleet request a hunter's assistance? What's the secret mission? Before I could finish speaking, Caleb reaches out and pinches my lips shut.
We can focus on the work stuff later. Cancel your hotel reservation first. And then...
His warm hands land on my shoulders and push me deeper into his home. I quickly step to the side and turn around. And then what? Caleb raises his eyebrow and gazes at me, as if seriously considering something. He then spreads his arms.
You know what I mean.
Hug. My memory of the past merges with the person in front of me. The corners of my mouth curl up involuntarily. I move closer and then slowly wrap my arms around his neck. I missed you, Caleb.
Welcome home.
Right next to my neck, his breath tickles my skin. He gently runs his fingers through my hair.
I'm really happy you're here to see me.
As the sunset's light filters in through the windows, our shadows lean closer together on the floor and meld into one. Okay. This is wholesome so far. This is wholesome. The sun sets and rises. As its radiance descends on the city again, I prepare to officially report to the Far Space Fleet. The personnel info was supposed to be confidential, but you somehow figured out it was me ahead of time. Oh, I get it. You must have pulled a few strings again, Colonel.
It's a new day and you're still bothered by this?
I notice my shoelace is loose. Just as I'm about to bend down, Caleb crouches.
It's because you turned down the fleet's offer for a shuttle. Figuring out the possible reasons isn't hard.
Surprising you is no easy task. I pick up the cap from the nearby coat rack, run my thumb over the silver insignia, and then place it on Caleb's head. Your entire demeanor changes when you're wearing a uniform.
Is it too intimidating? Or is the color too heavy for you? It doesn't matter what role I'm in. I'm still the Caleb who helps you tie your shoelaces.
This is so sweet. Caleb ties my shoelaces into a neat little bow. Then he stands up and adjusts my collar before opening the door.
Let's go. And keep this with you.
A key?
You can use it to open the door to my house, my car, and my personal aircraft. You can try it on anything to see if it'll open, basically.
Wow.
Since you declined the fleet's shuttle, you'll have to ride shotgun with me this week.
Yay! The official meeting between the association and the fleet will be held on the 17th floor of the fleet's command center. Upon arrival, I saw that the conference room was filled with attendees. Caleb had parted ways with me when we entered the command center. His new adjutant. Why do I struggle with this word? Adjutant. His new adjutant. His new adjutant, Liam, guides me through the entry procedure.
Your seat has a label with your name on it. Walk straight ahead and you'll find it. I need to go now. I'll see you around.
Thank you. I nod at him, but just as I'm about to walk around the aisle, a voice calls out to me from nearby.
Huh. You're the hunter the association sent?
Yes, and? You're... The man wearing a fleet uniform has a row of medals on his chest. However, his piercing gaze that's directed at me draws my attention.
So, the command center allows anyone to just waltz right in now, huh? Caleb sure has a knack for being an eyesore.
What? Don't talk about him like that. I pause, unsure if I misheard him, and Liam, who returned before I even realized it, positions himself to be in front of me.
Colonel Heath, is there a problem?
You shouldn't stick your nose where it doesn't belong.
You're the one doing that in the first place. Mind your own business. The man casts a dark look. With a snort, he turns around and walks away. That officer seemed to have a problem or two with hunters.
He's the Tomb Fleet's colonel, a seasoned veteran with a notoriously bad temper. Try to avoid him whenever possible.
Yeah, I definitely will. Liam escorts me to my seat. He nods once I sit down.
He has no problems with hunters. However, he doesn't see eye to eye with Colonel Caleb. You'll find out why soon.
Looks like this mission is going to be a bumpy ride. As the meeting is about to start, attendees take their seats. The door opens. Amidst the quiet attention of everyone present, Caleb walks to the center of the conference room.
I'm sure everyone is already aware that there will be personnel changes within the fleet next week. I will assume command over the Tomb Fleet. Colonel Heath will be relieved of his duties so he can rest and recuperate at Atlee Island.
So his fleet got taken over by Caleb. No wonder he's upset.
The Wanderers and Metaflux Index in the Deep Space Tunnel are on a whole different scale compared to what Skyhaven and Lincoln display. This is why we've decided to collaborate with the Hunters Association. A hunter will supervise the physical evaluations of the Tomb Fleet officers. Now, the fleet handover ceremony will officially begin.
The hologram flickers, and the lights dim. During the signal transmission, a faint glow lands on the various expressions of the fleet's senior officers in the conference room. My first day at the fleet's command center ends with various transfer procedures. In the evening, Caleb and I decided to meet at the runway. What's taking him so long? In the night's dense fog, Caleb's figure slowly appears, but behind him is...
Colonel Caleb, why are you in a hurry? You're not interested in the upcoming banquet?
The handover ceremony is complete. Whether I stay or not, you should be on your way to Atlee Island.
Caleb's gaze sweeps past me, and he stops a short distance away.
Well, I'd like to give you some advice, young man. I know how you got this position. You're just Lucius's pawn, planted here to infiltrate the fleet.
Oh.
Just like how you took over my fleet. He can easily replace you with another sad pawn tomorrow.
In the fog, the man takes a step.
A year ago, I was standing in your shoes.
Oh?
In other words, you've been abandoned, Colonel Heath.
I might be an abandoned pawn in his game, but not in someone else's. Kid, why don't you consider giving yourself a way out?
Once you're off the ground, the only path is forward. Have you gotten so old, Colonel, that you've forgotten what you once learned? Atlee Island's been experiencing lots of electromagnetic storms lately. Even the sturdiest aircraft could be torn to shreds. Worry about yourself first.
Worry about yourself first. Exactly.
I appreciate your advice. So let me remind you of something. Watch your step and keep your eyes on the road ahead. Until next time.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Oh, I just skipped. Oh, well. The man seems furious. He attempts to stop Caleb, but his hand stops midway and droops down in a peculiar position as if it's frozen in place. Blocking Heath's line of sight, Caleb strides over. When his gaze meets mine, genuine joy lights up in his eyes.
When did you get here? You must have been waiting a long time. Come on, let's go home.
Okay. It's already midnight by the time we get home. After changing my clothes, I lean against the couch and wait. Soon, Caleb walks out of his bedroom.
We're home and you're still frowning.
He walks over and gently taps my furrowed brow.
What are you thinking about?
You? It seems that a certain colonel has his fair share of struggles managing the fleet. I scoot over to make room for him. I wonder how I can ask him about the confrontation on the runway. After today, I think I understand why you need Hunter's assistance. This Colonel Heath doesn't accept you at all. While the situation looks like a fleet merger, it's really more of a one-sided takeover by you.
Oh?
But he's on his way out, so he's not worth stressing over. The real concern is the person pulling the strings behind him. They don't want you to control the Tim fleet. And that person is an actual threat to you. What appeared to be an infighting within the fleet could get much more complicated if a third party jumps in. That's why the Hunters Association is involved. The higher-ups will try to clamp down on any schemes to protect their secrets. Meanwhile, you should be able to take over without a hitch. It's only been a few months, Caleb. You're definitely stepping up your game. I narrow my eyes as if I'm closely examining him. Caleb can't help but chuckle and passes me a nearby cushion.
Likewise. It's only been a few months, but someone's really been honing her people reading skills.
What about you? Who's supporting you?
Isn't that person you, Pipsqueak? You're keener and more skilled this time. Even your muscles look more toned.
Caleb leans in, and the light casts a shadow under his eyelashes. The cushion remains between us.
But you still look a little worn out. Have you been feeling tired lately?
We lock eyes, and my fingers glide over the cushion to rest on his hand. I hold it. Caleb, no matter what your next move is, I've got your back. So, tell me, what do I have to do during this process?
Liam will be overseeing the main procedure. You'll be in charge of gathering and organizing the personnel files of the Tomb Fleet, and overseeing their anti-transformation tests.
And
What's with that "is that all" look on your face?
Caleb rescues the squished cushion from my grip and hands me another one. His expression slightly becomes more serious.
Don't underestimate your role. You've been here for only a day, and you already sense the tension in the air. This won't be a walk in the park. If you run into any snags, let Liam deal with them.
Is that so? I raise my eyebrow at him, and Caleb bursts into a fit of laughter.
Of course, a small task like this is hardly a challenge for you. Guess I'll just kick back and see how it all plays out.
That's more like it. Choosing not to dwell on the tension he mentioned for now, I shove the cushion into his arms and give him a thumbs up with a smile. I'll make sure to protect you, poor helpless Colonel, from getting fired. The official transfer of the Tomb Fleet starts today. As expected, the process is anything but smooth. Number 3997, Vice Captain of the Tomb Fleet. You've served over 5 years. Is that correct?
Did you call me over just so I could listen to this crap?
Under the cold blue light, the Tomb Fleet officer across the glass wall is strapped into an interrogation chair. His expression is filled with contempt. Then let's cut to the chase. After the transfer orders were issued, the fleet arranged a medical examination for all officers. Can you explain why you chose not to participate?
Who doesn't know what this examination really means? You think everyone's itching to turn into a monster?
Monster. Are you talking about the touring chip?
Oh, you probably don't know, being a hunter and all. That chip is just the beginning of their twisted modifications. Let me be clear. There's no way I'm doing that examination. I don't care if it's about modifications or that chip. I'm not doing it. The fleet's real big shot will return soon. Let's see how long your monster colonel can keep this up.
The interrogation light switches off and leaves behind a faint, swaying shadow. The big shot. Could they be the person who poses a real threat to Caleb? I collect myself and lower my head to move number 3997's profile aside. Under it are old medical examination reports from some members of the Tomb Fleet. The same person shows completely different results after being transferred to Caleb's fleet and undergoing the medical examination. The chip rewrote Kevy's memories and now it's causing a drastic enhancement in these officers' physical capabilities. Is this all so they can be modified?
Miss, here are the files you requested. I already organized them. Do you have any further instructions?
No, that's everything. Thank you.
Understood.
This guy. 3 days ago.
No! I'm not taking that exam! I'm not going! Release me!
Wait, it's the same person.
Caleb can only pull this off because he has someone's backing! You monsters! Nobody wants to be like you!
Not only have his physical capabilities enhanced, but his personality also has been altered. He has the chip now. What exactly are they trying to turn people into with this modification? I get up, trying to find that officer so I can get more information. But when I open the door, I'm stunned to see Caleb standing right there.
What happened? Why in a hurry?
Removing his hand from the door handle, he shifts his gaze to the end of the corridor.
You need something from that officer?
If I ask Caleb about the modification now, he probably won't tell me the truth. I should find more concrete leads. That way, when I confront him about this, he can't dodge my questions. It's nothing important. I realize I forgot to ask him for another file, but it's okay. I'll get it later. Caleb's eyes fall on the open examination reports. I lean against the edge of the desk, trying to gather up the files behind my back. Shouldn't you be in a meeting right now? What made you stop by? Caleb's focus stays on the stack of files. After a moment, he raises his eyes to meet mine again.
I see someone looked into my schedule. The meeting ended early. I was passing by and thought I'd bring you some snacks.
He offers me the small paper box he's holding. It's filled with bite-sized fruit tarts.
Light refreshments from the meeting. You probably need them more than I do after working the whole day. By the way, you'll be having dinner on your own tonight.
There's another urgent meeting?
Just some minor stuff about the fleet merger. I'd rather take care of them myself.
Nodding, I accept the desserts. Yet Caleb remains where he is. I pause and then open the box. I hold it out to him. If you're not in a hurry, do you want to eat some?
It's okay. Take your time. I'll get going now.
Wait, Caleb. How long will the meeting be? Caleb's gaze drifts over my shoulder and lands on the electronic clock on the wall behind me.
I'll pick you up at 9.
The door closes. Through the parted blinds, Caleb's figure slowly disappears at the end of the corridor. Hope I can find some documents related to this modification in the Colonel's office. After reconfirming Caleb's schedule and office duty status through the virtual terminal, I set the dessert box aside and get up. I have 3 hours. That's plenty of time. Liam and Caleb are in the meeting. In the corridor outside the Colonel's office, I take out the key Caleb gave me. It actually works. The door opens and then closes. A soft glow from a virtual screen illuminates the quiet office. His password is... In the past, Caleb used to jumble words and numbers that were meaningful to him in a particular pattern to create passwords. I tried 2 combinations, and both are incorrect. With only 1 attempt left, I clench my fist. After a moment of hesitation, I try again. What, is it like my birthday or something? Or when we met? It works. The password was a combination of when you come back and my birthday. That's too cute. I can't afford any distractions. As I duplicate his access permissions, I quickly search for anything useful. His personal profile. There it is. The profile reveals that Caleb graduated from DAA Aerospace Academy and participated in secret training during his 3rd year. He achieved outstanding results. Secret training, another thing I didn't know about. Subsequently, because of his exceptional performance in finding new patrol routes within the deep space tunnel, he was promoted to be the fleet's colonel. Recommended by Professor Lucius. So this person indeed played a role in Caleb's joining the fleet. The Caleb depicted in this profile is nothing like the person I know. And in addition to the unfamiliar resume, there's also a full body scan image. His arm. It is gradually revealed second by second. In the part that's already visible, his right arm is marked in an abnormal shade of blue. I zoom in on the blue area and notice how the bone and muscle structure are different from his other arm. This is what they're referring to as modification. Oh. Just as I'm about to take a closer look, the system abruptly shuts down. The account is forcefully logged out. A notification appears saying that the device's login permissions have been revoked. Please re-verify your identity. Have I been discovered? Taking a deep breath, I quickly delete the terminal usage log. When I turn to leave, my clothes snag onto the drawer and yanks it open. Inside the drawer, a small rectangular object rests atop a pile of paper reports. Chip implanter for clinical trials only. It's the Turing chip. Wait a minute. Chip implanter. Wait. I'm not sure how, how exactly it works, like how it's implanted, so. Chip implanter. Without hesitating, I hide the implanter in my shoe's secret compartment. When I close the drawer and get ready to leave, the door opens. Hey, what are you doing here? In the dim room, the brim of Caleb's cap casts a shadow under his gaze. He slightly tilts his head.
Why are you waiting for me here?
You took too long. I was getting impatient. There's no way it's been 3 hours. That justification sounded absurd even to me. My palms begin to sweat, but he just grins.
Is that so? Let's get going then. The meeting ended early. Time to go home.
His eyes almost unnoticeably drift over to the now dark virtual before he turns and holds out his hand toward me. But I don't move.
What's wrong?
Aren't you going to ask me?
About what? About why you're in my office? Or whether you found the thing you were looking for?
Both? Pulling back his hand from the door handle, Caleb lowers his head. His gaze, obscured by the darkness of the night, engulfs me from head to toe.
Anyone entering the Colonel's office without permission will be taken to the interrogation room. No exceptions.
Not again.
But I'm the Colonel. Whether you're entering without permission or here because of my orders, I have the final say. There's just one minor thing, though. Any intrusion and duplication of system permissions will be reported straight to HQ. Covering up the traces will be a hassle.
Caleb slowly pries my fingers from the terminal decryptor and takes it. His movement is deliberate yet firm, leaving no room for resistance.
I doubt you'd put me between a rock and a hard place, right?
Right. The face, the voice, the actions, I know them all too well. Yet, the person standing before me is like a stranger. I open my mouth, attempting to question him, but the words falter and fade away. In the face of his composure, all my feelings seem utterly pointless. Caleb, I just want to figure out what kind of trouble you're caught up in right now. Can you tell me?
I can't speak about anything that's classified.
What happens if you do? Will you also be sent to Atlee Island and become another abandoned pawn?
When's the last time you took care of your hair? It's a lot longer now.
Nice dodge. He stays calm and gentle, softly brushing my stray hair away from my face. As if nothing happened, he smoothly shifts the conversation. I wouldn't say that's smooth. I would say that's the opposite of smooth. That was not smooth at all.
I can't even see your eyes.
I noticed a blinding gleam from the insignia on his shoulder. After a long pause, I slowly manage a wry smile. Caleb, has anyone ever told you that this uniform is like your mask? Ooh. He stands motionless. The door is right there, but we're locked in a standoff. unable to move past each other and leave. Let's go home. Darkness enshrouds his eyes, making his expression hard to read. He glances down for a moment, then lifts his gaze again. The fleeting wavering has already dissipated like a mirage.
Okay, let's go home.
I'm so intrigued where this is gonna go. I know Caleb wouldn't reveal the fleet's secrets to me. He once said he would have been abandoned if he didn't join the fleet. He didn't want me to suffer that pain again, and also admitted that he's always been this cold, distant, gloomy person, whether affected by the chip or not. I can't tell which version of him is the real Caleb, but I know he's the most important person to me in this world. I won't put him between a rock and a hard place. The fleet's colonel, secret training, the touring chip, modifications. Whatever these terms really mean, they're the strings that bind Caleb's hands and feet. These strings compelled him to reappear before me, and one day, the unseen hand controlling these strings will pull him away from me once more. The Tomb Fleet's handover is undoubtedly a conundrum. I'm bracing myself for the process to drag on endlessly. Yet 3 days later, an unexpected banquet is held. Please let us dance together. Please. As music fills the air and glasses clink, people approach Caleb every now and then and offer their toast in his honor.
I never thought the handover would progress so smoothly. Will you also present the survey report at HQ next month, Colonel?
There's a bright future ahead of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
After dealing with another officer who came for a chat, Caleb finally puts down his glass and walks to the corner where I'm standing.
It's only been a couple of minutes and your hair's looking a little messy. Where did you go?
He gestures for me to lower my head. Then he removes his gloves and leans in to carefully adjust the strands of hair near my ears. The ornate mirror beside me catches a transient glint. It's from the hairpin Caleb gave me before the event.
I imagined how good you'd look with it when I bought this. And I was right. You're stunning. Do you like it?
Chill. I need to chill. His fingertips brush against the back of my ear. It makes me shiver, but I don't flinch, and I don't say anything either. From your earlier conversation, the handover of the Tomb Fleet went well?
So you've been paying attention to what I say. Well, you're correct.
But until the day before yesterday, most of them were still unwilling to cooperate. My gaze sweeps across the banquet hall as I silently savor this peace I haven't experienced in a while. There are no biting remarks or sarcasm. Amidst the soothing music, the faces drifting by are peaceful and somewhat unfamiliar. They all got the touring chips. They all got the chips put in them.
Are you asking me where Colonel Heath, Tomb Officer number 3997, and all those who opposed the handover went?
Yes.
Surely you figured it out by now. They're right where they should be. They won't disrupt us or cause you any more stress. Isn't that a relief?
The night breeze rustles the curtains by the floor-to-ceiling window. Moonlight bathes him in a grayish glow that makes him appear like a statue made from plaster.
Why are you giving me that look? Do you hate it when I'm like this?
It depends. I'm just curious. If I throw a wrench in your plans, like those people, what are you gonna do? Lock me up again?
You wouldn't force me to do that.
He didn't say no. Yeah, I've got your back. It doesn't matter what you do. So, Caleb, why are you still not telling me about your plan? What? Amidst our silent impasse, the music transitions to the next song. It seems I won't receive an answer from him. I turn to leave, but in the next instant, danger erupts. What? What's that?
Get down!
Something whizzes through the air. My sight is obscured by mist. Out of habit, I turn and draw my gun, but Caleb reacts even faster. Suspended in front of his forehead. Suspended in front of his forehead, defying gravity, is a bullet. Oh my gosh. You're their target? Quick, take cover. I tighten my grip on my gun and try to lead Caleb behind a pillar, but he stops me in my tracks. He doesn't meet my gaze. His eyes linger on his palm instead. His lips pressed into a thin line for some reason. Did he get hit? Caleb?
There's no point in hiding. This bullet is probably their first move.
What do you mean there's no point in hiding? As we talk to each other, the commotion inside the hall quickly subsides. Well-trained officers quickly regain control of the scene, but the assassin has yet to be captured.
It's a diversion. Their actual target must be elsewhere.
He slowly clenches his fist. When he raises his head, the shadow of his cap's brim obscures his eyes. Following his line of sight, I look outside. He's staring in the direction of the Alpha and Beta fleet bases.
You stay here. Liam.
How many people can you trust right now? Caleb, I'm your best choice. I shake his grip off my wrist. Something flickers in Caleb's gaze. A hint of hesitation betrays his words for the first time.
It's possible that either the Alpha or Beta fleet base has been taken over, but I can't be sure which one. I already sent people to the Alpha fleet base.
I'll check the other base for you. Our eyes lock and we find ourselves in a stalemate once more. This time, after a long silence, Caleb finally relents.
Liam, go with her.
The adjutant, standing silently beside us, looks at Caleb. After making eye contact, he nods and acknowledges the order.
Be careful.
You too. I hastily holster my gun and head for the exit. Before I step into the dark night, I look back. Caleb, you really do need me for this, right?
Yes.
Alright. Wait for my good news. What? Is he just like sending me to somewhere pointless? To like get me away from danger? The girl's figure fades into the night. She's heading in the opposite direction of where the real danger lies. I knew it. The veins on Caleb's neck bulge and then recede. He narrows his eyes at the bullet in his palm for a long while. He slowly tightens his grip around it. In the unfathomable darkness, the only source of light emanates from the door slightly ajar in the fleet's armory. Watch me actually find some useful information to help him. The approaching sound of footsteps reverberates in the vacant, dim corridor. The man who's sitting in the room unveils a malevolent grin.
You're quick on your feet. Ugh!
Not this guy again. Oh? Seemingly crushed by an unseen force, the man's veins instantly swell. His face turns red as he collapses to his knees, unable to control his fall. At the same time, numerous red dots light up, all zeroing in on Caleb's figure that's concealed among the shadows.
Who said you could start it when she was around?
Start what?
How could you?
No gunshot rings out, and the expected explosion never comes. Caleb locks eyes with the dumbfounded man as he walks into the light, one deliberate step at a time. The gun barrels aimed at him are twisted downward. The crisp sound of breaking bones cuts through the air as he steps on the man's wrist, pinned to the ground.
Having me die for no clear reason in this armory I've just taken over. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. That'll definitely make those cunning old foxes at the top suspicious. Naturally, I'll be a perfect justification to purge all the people I've just gathered under me.
After slowly putting on his gloves, Caleb leans down and grabs the man's distorted, reddening face.
Too bad you picked the wrong target.
Caleb's hand moves to the man's throat. Heath's eyes bulge with pain as Caleb's grip tightens, and the bones in his neck creak under pressure.
You don't you dare to kill.
Why don't I? Haven't you already come up with a reason for it? A firearms mishap in the armory, with Colonel Heath and others heroically sacrificed. Humor me for a bit. Who do you think those old foxes will protect? A valuable colonel? Or a bunch of corpses with unknown causes of death?
Colonel Caleb, it's been a long while.
In the shadows, a slender figure emerges. What? With the flick of that person's fingers, dark blue veins abruptly surface on the side of Caleb's neck. He's brought down to his knees.
I thought destroying the touring ship would be difficult. I'll just use your dead body as a greeting gift to Professor Lucius then.
No. The incandescent light bulb suddenly goes out. With a flash of lightning outside, Caleb's pupils contract in an instant.
I was wondering how Heath would dare to act so recklessly. Turns out it was you.
With bloodshot eyes and muscles taut with strain, Caleb slowly lifts his head, each movement underscored by the flickering and throbbing hum of electricity.
Even with you involved, the outcome will still be the same.
The door slams shut with a jarring finality, setting off a symphony of sounds that echo like a chaotic banquet. Yet, as the thunderstorm rages, the cacophony gradually gives way to silence. What the heck? Who was that person? Subdued thunder grumbles in the sky as a deep roar resounds from the command center that's concealed within the dark clouds. Aircraft stands on the silent runway. After checking both bases, I've confirmed that the so-called takeover was nothing but a fabrication. Above my head, the navigation lights of more than a dozen aircraft leave dents, glowing trails across the night sky. The wind stirs up the airwaves, sending them swirling into the distance. Those are Caleb's reinforcements, right? I looked at the adjutant who had forcefully escorted me back to Skyhaven. In the descending rain, his countenance remains calm. The fleet bases were never in danger. It was Caleb who played the diversion, and you knew this, Liam.
Considering the circumstances, ensuring you left the area was for the best.
Did he also predict they'd make a move at tonight's banquet? Caleb planned out everything, but I never thought my role would have me be out of the game.
You are the only person the Colonel can trust. However, your presence would affect his decisions. Please don't hold this against him.
True, because then he'd be like worried about my safety. How could I? It's just that his overwhelming need to protect me is kind of laughable. Even if I returned to the fleet's command center now, I'd only end up being a spectator at Caleb's side. On the dimly lit street, where light and shadow intertwine, I shuffle around aimlessly. Liam, you're Caleb's adjutant. Do you think he trusts you?
I don't need the Colonel's trust. I only need his orders.
So if he orders you to leave behind your loved ones, you do it?
That's precisely why I can stand by his side and serve him.
Dang. The red light flickers on the opposite side of the empty crossroad. I stop in my tracks and look into his empty gaze.
Miss Hunter. We're not the same as you.
Because you got touring chips? How so? Is it because I haven't been modified by that chip? Liam, if the chip was implanted into me, what would your colonel do?
He'd do whatever it takes to get it removed. But miss, you don't have to put yourself through that pain.
Of course.
You're safe now. I'll start heading back. The colonel said he'll be waiting for you at home after the banquet ends.
Liam bows and then salutes me. He turns to leave. The downpour drapes over the glass wall by the street. I look over and see my blurred reflection in a cascade of falling Asiatic apple petals. The touring chip I took from the colonel's office is still in the secret compartment of my shoe, along with the implanter. Oh. The remaining distance between Caleb and me will disappear with just one simple press. Wait, what? What does she mean by that? Is she... No, she wouldn't take the chip. Right? No. The streetlights glimmer in the rain as I sit on the bench. I'm drained of strength. What? Why would she do that? Wait, okay, hold on. Okay, is this like some sort of scheme? Okay. Okay, the implantation is quick and simple. There's just a faint trace on the inside of my arm. Is she doing this to prove a point to Caleb? And now she is doing this to prove a point to him that he shouldn't have the chip himself? Because he'll see how it changes her? Is that what she's doing? Can you even remove the chip? What the heck? The implantation is quick and simple. There's just a faint trace on the inside of my arm. What? This is my secret to bear alone. It feels like me against the world, and It feels like me against the world, and I'd go to any length to cry out my agony. Okay, wait. What? Oh, this is gonna be bad. Just imagining Caleb's reaction upon finding this out sends a shiver through the depths of my heart. Why is she doing this? Does she, like, not want to feel pain anymore? Is that why? Like, emotions? The sound of footsteps draws closer. Just as a shadow engulfs me, the rain stops.
I've been looking for you everywhere. Why didn't you return home? Liam shouldn't have left you alone in the street.
I walked here by myself. It has nothing to do with him.
Why are you sitting in the rain like this? You'll get sick.
When we played hide and seek in the past, Caleb always managed to find me. But even if he finds me now, I can't bear the thought of going back to that place called home with him. Oh my. So she's doing this to not have to deal with emotions anymore? Wow, this is... Wow. If that's the reason why... then... Wow. Caleb, look. There are Asiatic apples in Skyhaven. I turn away from Caleb's face, letting my gaze drift to the line of blossoming trees that extended into the rain.
There was an Asiatic apple tree by the train station near our old home. Every year when its petals fell, you'd be there to see me off before I left for Skyhaven. I didn't know you liked Asiatic apples.
I don't. Because Asiatic apples... Because Asiatic apple flowers take you away from me. I don't like them.
No one can take me away from you.
The vibrant clusters of flowers carry no scent, like I'm staring at rows of trees, adorned with beautiful but lifeless specimens.
Will you come back with me now?
How long do you plan to lock me up this time? A month? A year? Or forever?
If every problem pulls me further away from you, then I'll spend a lifetime searching for the answers. But until that final moment, we'll always be together.
What if my friends and colleagues from the association come looking for me?
In that case, I'll hold a funeral they can attend, so they'll think you're gone forever.
My gosh.
Let's go back, or else you'll catch a cold.
Isn't it funny that you're worried about me catching a cold after discussing my funeral?
So, if I don't show concern as someone close to you, it doesn't count as being genuine? You can't convince yourself to hate me with every fiber of your being. Wouldn't you agree? I'll eventually find a way to make things right. As long as you're by my side.
Caleb, I hate it when you're like this. Give up? Oh. But what I hate the most is how you're always able to make me change my mind. Wow.
I'm sorry. I feel like I don't know how to take care of you anymore.
Caleb, what's going on? Caleb.
Let's go home.
What? What's happening? What? No. Given Caleb's current state, I can't entrust him to anyone in the fleet. I have to take him home. Without even drying off from the rain, I use all my strength to bring him to the bedroom. As soon as I push open the door, his weight pulls me down onto the soft bed with him. Oh my god. I prop myself up, and my gaze is drawn to the crimson veins behind his ear.
Warning. Emotional fluctuations have surpassed the threshold limit.
No. 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 Amidst the deafening roars of thunder, he seems ensnared in a deep nightmare. In agony, he's pulling his collar apart.
Don't take her away.
Oh my god. I'm here, Caleb. I'm not going anywhere. He clenches his fist, his pale knuckles leaving behind a trail of blood. I quickly take his hand and press it against my chest. The crimson veins beneath his skin branch out from behind his ear. Extend to his shoulder and flow down his tense right arm.
Commencing chip activation process. Executing mandatory erasure of neurons.
Sweat soaks the hair on his forehead, dripping onto the bed sheet. Meanwhile, his body is racked with spasms. Even though I'm unaware of what changes his body is undergoing, the scene before me is all too familiar. In the serene garden of that villa in Skyhaven, Kevy, who had recently lost his sister, went through a similar experience. This isn't good, I have to make it stop. Steadying my trembling hands, I try to search for a button on his body, one that might not even exist. at this moment that he opens his eyes. The room swirls around me, and my back is slammed onto the bed. I look up to find Caleb's face, drenched in sweat, staring back at me. Caleb? My wrists are yanked above my head, pressed against something cold and stiff. It feels as if it's not his hand that's restraining me, but rather a lifeless machine. His mechanical hand.
Why are you struggling?
No.
Are you scared of me? Do I feel like a stranger to you?
He leans down, his damp hair catching the room's cold light in the room. Drops fall and trickle down my collarbone.
Program complete.
No.
How could you possibly understand my guilt and sin?
What? The pressure pinning me down finally eases. His body slumps onto me. Only his right arm continues to twitch in some sort of rhythmic pattern. Since Caleb returned to me, I rarely had nightmares about him, but I dreamed of him that night. There was no sun. He floated within a dark green jungle. The ropes that bound him morphed into vines, sprouting from sturdy branches. They wrapped around his wrists and ankles like venomous snakes, flicking their tongues. Every muscle swelled under the vine's encroachment. Tiny hair-like thorns pierced his skin and greedily siphoned nutrients from his flesh. They then injected new toxins into his nerves. His body trembled like a beast caught in a trap, struggling against the restraints that only grew tighter with every move. Finally, he crashed into the dirt, buried by leaves carrying the scent of decay. A wilted leaf fell down slowly. It covered his hollow eye socket. The jungle devoured his body, leaving him as withered tree, choked by its grasp. Waking up from that dream, I groggily reached towards the other side of the bed. Caleb. My palm feels nothing but the mattress. I instantly return to reality. Caleb? I need to go to the living room. As soon as I make a turn into the hallway, morning light floods my vision. Skyhaven's sunlight has always been brighter than the ones that touches Lincoln. Through the gaps between my fingers, a figure becomes clear, as if rising from a pool of clear water. When did you get up? I let out a sigh of relief and walked toward Caleb. I placed my palm on his forehead, then slide it down his right arm, gently squeezing as I go. Do you feel better now? Let me take a look.
You...
His gaze shifts to my face. He's holding a photo that was originally placed on the coffee table.
When I woke up this morning, I saw you were lying down next to me.
Yes? Oh, is that it? He doesn't remember? Not intending to guess the meaning behind his words, I lower my head and take the photo from him. In it, Caleb is wearing a uniform. The girl next to him is planting a tender kiss on his slightly surprised face. His embrace and the way he carries himself feel familiar. His body doesn't resist, and it almost feels like he wants more. This is a photo of Caleb and me. It was taken when he graduated from Aerospace Academy.
So...
His fingers brush my temple as he tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. Tracing the curve of my jaw, Caleb gently lifts my chin. His cool touch strokes my cheek as if he's seeking an answer to some enigmatic question beneath my skin.
Who are you?
What? Is he trolling? He's trolling. Caleb, you don't remember me? The most absurd assumption ends up being true. Caleb was sitting in front of me, yet he acts like a puppet stripped of its soul. Unlike Kevy, his memories haven't been altered. The touring chip has completely wiped them out? So it's more than just me. You don't even remember who you are? As he sits on the couch, it feels as though a frosted glass wall separates us. He's so near, yet I can't see him clearly.
But I remember the way you made me feel.
He lowers his head, his index finger fishing out the metal necklace hiding under his collar.
I also remember you gave this to me. Were we close like this?
What? We... After everything that's happened, it's hard to put a relationship into simple words. He was one of the most important people in my life. Even with all that has happened, he's still someone I can't afford to lose. My heartbeat is like a balloon that rises high, only to come crashing back into my chest. When I lock eyes with Caleb, a ridiculous thought strikes me like lightning. No matter what I say, he'll believe me. We're... You're the most important person to me, and I'm the most important person to you. Oh my gosh, wait, what the heck? As if to affirm my words, I snuggle against Caleb's chest and wrap my arms around his neck. What? Caleb, I'm the only one in this world who truly knows you.
You're the only one who truly knows me.
You'll never leave me, just like the vines that cling to a tree. We shared a part of our lives with each other, so we'll never be apart.
I'm sorry. I can't remember anything.
What the heck is happening? It's okay if you can't remember for now. I'll always be here for you. It's like they switched. 'Cause in the flashback, MC was like, "Who are you?" And Caleb said, "It's okay if you don't remember. I'm Caleb, I'll always be by your side." They literally switched. Okay, I was curious what the other option is, so I went back and recorded it. But I wasn't looking at the screen, so I'll see what happens if you choose the ... Faint words can't encapsulate even a fraction of what we've been through, so I turned the question back to him. What do you think a relationship is? I see my reflection in Caleb's eyes at this moment. I'm the only one in his case.
I don't know. But when I see you...
My reflection becomes more vivid in his pupils and he leans in. His breath glides past my ear as he nestles his head in the crook of my neck.
I just want to hold you in my arms. Like right now.
Though gentle and hesitant, it's still an embrace that belongs only to me. Out of selfishness, I allow his misunderstandings to persist by remaining silent. Perhaps words aren't needed between us. All we need is us touching each other and including each other other own. It's okay if you don't remember for now. I'll always be here for you. Speed reading. The pleasure from deceit and setting traps almost numbs my limbs. What the? I tighten my hold on him, and my lips brush against his earlobe. Just like what you've done for me. The open window is closed as a sudden breeze sweeps through the room. Our shadows intertwine and blend into the flickering darkness, mingling with the shifting patches of light on the floor. Caleb, can you promise me something? From now on, you won't go anywhere else. You'll always stay by my side. Is that okay? After a moment's hesitation, the chill touch of his arm seeps through the thin fabric of my clothes and settles on the small of my back. The tightening force devours the last bit of distance between us.
I promise.
What? What? The amnesiac Caleb was like a blank page in a book, the result of an error. And if someone must rewrite him, then that person was me and me alone. I hid his phone, fleet uniform, communication device, and anything else that might wake him from his dream. Oh my gosh. It's never easy to locate a fleet colonel's residence. That dim house was a chaotic black hole, evading the constraints of time. He's reduced to a solitary floating island that drifts within. And I was the sole resident. Over the course of 3 days, it's as if we returned to our childhood, to the small garden of that shelter where we first met. We only grew with each other's company, and the world beyond these walls didn't mean anything to us. Caleb, there are a lot of monsters outside. Will the world end tomorrow? There's no need to be afraid of the end of the world. Where do you want to go today? Let's have some fun. The amusement park. Skyhaven's amusement park was built on a small island near the central island. The top half of the Ferris wheel disappears into the clouds. Amidst the cloud, they keep using the word amidst. Amidst the crowd screams, the pendulum ride reaches its apex. Just off the ride, I lean against the railing, my stomach churning like a storm.
Aren't you supposed to be a deep space hunter? Is it safe for you to hunt in deep space when you're like this?
Caleb crouches down in front of me as he holds the ice cream he just bought. I didn't have breakfast today, besides. Suppressing a sudden wave of nausea, I lean in and take a quick bite of the ice cream in his hand. It's just a title. That doesn't mean we're hunters in deep space, or we go into deep space to hunt.
So, if you're a deep space hunter, then what am I?
You're... Standing up and letting out a sigh of relief, I place the puppy-eared headwear I've been holding on Caleb's head. Then I hook his index finger with mine as we walk into the bustling crowd. You're the sidekick of a deep space hunter. Time flows differently in the amusement park. Even without planning anything, we still manage to spend the entire day here. The dusk in Skyhaven paints the sky in shades of purple and orange as the sun sinks into the distant sea of clouds. The sightseeing train loops around the floating island. In the last passenger car, Caleb and I sit side by side in the back row.
I bet you used to tease me all the time. Am I right?
He removes the headwear and tucks it into the plush apple bag slung across his chest. He ties the glittering balloon to the train car's handle. But you always took it willingly, even enjoyed it. He pats his own shoulder.
Want to take a nap?
I yawn again and laid my head on him. Caleb, in a happy place like an amusement park. No one wants to waste time sleeping.
Really? Well, this place kind of feels like a dream. And I don't think it's a waste of time to sleep in a dream.
Shifting into a comfortable position, I nuzzle Caleb and close my eyes. And promise me you'll still be here when I wake up. The wheels rumble as they begin to move. Suddenly the watch on my wrist emits a faint vibration. Wait a minute. I want that noise to stop. Okay. So okay, I'm muting this in the recording because it's irritating me. Okay, this is a dream. This isn't reality. In Caleb's chapter, he said after the explosion, okay, we asked him what happened after the explosion. And he said something like, I don't remember, it felt like a dream. So then after the explosion, they put the Turing chip in him, and he was... What? Hold on. They put the Turing chip in him, and he went into like a dream, like a lucid dream state, or like a dreamlike state. And then he came out of that state and became how he is now. So then, is that what is happening right now to MC? Because she implanted that chip. She implanted the Turing chip into her body. And so is that what's happening right now? She implanted the chip and went into a dreamlike state, and this is what her dream is right now. But then what's gonna happen when she wakes up? I turn away from him a little and check the message. It's a notice from the Hunters Association. My temporary assignment is supposed to end in 3 days. The association is asking about the progress of this mission and confirming my return date.
You took away my phone, so it's only fair if I confiscate your watch, I think. Why do you look unhappy?
I put away my watch and turn back around. It's nothing. Our sweet dream is about to close its doors.
It'll be open again tomorrow. We can come back.
What? The clouds in the sky look like a flowing oil painting. Right behind Caleb is the fleet's command center on the Central Island's highest point. He's been MIA for 3 whole days. I wonder how long it'll take for the storm to reach us as it proves atop that tower. Words rush to my lips, but suddenly, for some reason, my mind feels foggy from a throbbing pain. Maybe this planet will explode tomorrow, and it'll be the end of the world.
That's nothing to be afraid of. The world we live in is already mid-explosion. So even if it comes to an end, we can always move on to the next one.
Philos. The pain in the inside of my wrist intensifies, but somehow my nerves start to twitch with a strange, excited tremor. I'm older now. I don't believe in those stories anymore. I look down at Caleb's hand resting by his knee. Carefully I separate his fingers and then give them a soft squeeze. I just realized how big your hands are.
Back then, when I was teaching you how to shoot, I couldn't completely cover your hands. But now...
Caleb's eyelashes fluttered down as he lets me play with his fingers. Then gently he closes his hand around mine, enveloping it completely in warmth. Now we've both grown up.
Does that mean we can finally do all the things we used to want to do but couldn't before?
We couldn't do? Or mean the things we wouldn't dare to do? Our fingers intertwine, our skin rubbing against each other. I can feel his heartbeat. Travels from his bones to my ears. Caleb's voice takes on a serious tone.
What if I dare? Will you do the same?
My fingers slightly tremble in his grip. I have a sense that something is about to happen. I look up and force myself to respond with a determined smile. Caleb, since you said that, then... Oh! What? Kiss me? Seeing Caleb hesitate, I hear myself let out a scoff. You coward. Just as I'm about to turn away, he suddenly presses his nose against mine.
What did you just say?
Our breaths blend because we're so close to each other, and the warmth from his dry lips begin to stir everything around us. You're all bark but no bite. This is a bluff. The sudden closeness makes me falter. Caleb leans in just as I expected. She's gonna wake up before it happens. In that instant, it feels like electricity jolts through my nerves. Before the moment can fully unfold, I turn my face away. His lips brush against my ear, and I sit stiffly, watching a plane dive into the cotton candy-like clouds in the distance.
Coward.
Prove it to me. I'm doing the other option.
I thought everything I did was proof of my sincerity.
The train track stretches into the clouds. Caleb leans in and presses his forehead against mine. Something seems changed in a heartbeat. His necklace sways with the wind, and the silver glint flickers before my eyes. A kiss touches my earlobe, and his teeth lightly graze my skin. A shiver rushes through me like a subtle poison that spreads to my fingertips. In this hazy moment, all boundaries appear to blur and grow unchecked.
I like you.
My head begins to feel foggy and heavy again. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice several aircraft approaching the floating island. They're exclusive to the fleet at Caleb's command. Every deployment is inevitably linked to its colonel. Tension grips me as I see them. I quickly wrap my arms around Caleb's neck. Caleb, let's go home. He follows my hurried gaze, but fortunately, the drifting clouds obscure everything from view.
We'll head back as soon as we get off the train.
Let's leave now. Are you scared or something? Clouds stretch endlessly outside the train, but I know Caleb will find a way out eventually. I press my hands against the edge of the train car and push myself up.
Hey, where are you going?
Use your evol. Anywhere is fine. It doesn't matter. Anyway, tomorrow's the end of the world. He grabs my arm and pulls me back into the train car. As his eyes sweep over my inner arm, his grip tightens around my wrist.
Where did this come from? The chip?
I see his lips moving, but I can't hear him. Everything is drowned out by a piercing buzz. They're here, Caleb. They're coming. My body feels lighter, and the sweltering heat vanishes into darkness. drenched in cold sweat. Pain surges in waves, and only a faint, straw-like glimmer of light remains, floating on the surface. My body no longer feels like my own. The searing pain courses through my nerves, burning me from the inside out. It's as if I'm being rewired with a cold, ruthless precision, as if by a scalpel. Erase, organize. The relentless buzzing in my ears make me want to scream. Yet amidst this excruciating pain, something is gently pressed to my lips. I bite down instinctively, and a metallic taste spreads across my mouth. When I regain consciousness, my hands and feet are bound to a bed. I can't move. The familiar cold light hits me. I'm in the fleet's infirmary. Why did you bring me here?
You need to control your emotions for now.
He's back in his fleet uniform, wearing that same unfamiliar mask-like expression. Wait. Oh, okay. You remember everything since when? When we were at the amusement park, or even before that?
I haven't even asked my questions yet. When did you get that Turing chip implanted?
Blood rushes to my head, and my sanity fractures under my shaky nerves. Cold sweat pours down as I bite my lip to keep from crying out. Let go of me. My struggles are futile to him. Caleb removes his gloves and gently rubs my swollen lips with his thumb.
Don't hurt yourself. Rest. The surgery is being prepared. The pain will disappear soon.
What? Oh, wait, what? To get it removed? Wait. The pain deepens with each throb of my nerves. My vision starts to blur again. I'm almost collapsing into his arms, but I refuse to give in. Ever since we reunited, have you been enduring all this? Why didn't you tell me?
If telling you the truth means watching you willingly get caught up in this mess, then I would have never shown up in your life again.
Caleb, I don't understand. They changed you, treat you like a pawn, and make you do those awful things. But you belong with me. You're the person I cherish the most. How could they do this to you?
You're not feeling well, Pipsqueak. Please, just rest. When you wake up...
When Caleb isn't paying attention, I quietly undo the restraints.
What are you doing?
I push him away, slip off the bed, and stagger toward the door. No one can take you away from me. I'll bring you to a place where no one can find us. I feel as if my body is out of control. When the spinning finally steadies, I find myself stumbling and sitting down by the door. Behind me, Caleb walks over. He looks grim. go of me.
When you're like this, where do you think you can go? If you can't calm down, just stay like this for now. Remember when we were kids and you had a fever? You were so restless that I worried you'd hurt yourself by biting your tongue. So I let you bite my hand instead. One time you bit down really hard, and that mark lasted for 2 weeks. At the time, I thought that when you were older, I'd settle the score with you, one grievance at a time.
Now I'm the one who will settle the score with you.
What do you want?
I want to peel open your heart to see the secrets, to see what secrets are hidden within. As a Farspace Fleet's colonel, you've never been put on trial like this before, right?
A trial? What have I done wrong? What are you accusing me of?
You killed my Caleb. The Caleb in this uniform, I don't like it.
Pipsqueak, you should get some sleep now.
Look at you, you're like a sinner who's confessing.
Then can you carry a little of this sin too? Don't leave me in this loneliness any longer.
My head, it hurts.
It'll be like when we were kids. When you wake up, there won't be a trace of pain or any memory of it left behind.
Behind the glass wall, Liam watches the girl as she lies on that device. The neural scan projection shows a red area spreading from the chip. It indicates that less than 10% of her body is affected by corrosion.
Forcefully dissolving the chip will erase all memories formed since its implantation, and it could cause irreversible damage to how her brain remembers things. The worst outcome would be that she loses all her memories. Do you still want to proceed with the surgery?
Yes.
He presses the execute button and maneuvers the device to push the girl into the extraction pod. Liam hasn't checked his chip modification progress for a while, as it's been a long time since he last lost control of his emotions. Most of his memories with his wife were erased during that initial struggle. The only fragment that remains is the image of tears she shed when they last saw each other. He knew he should have cried too, but his feelings were rusted like old machinery. They rigidly froze his outstretched hand.
The chip has been successfully dissolved. The user memories have been erased.
The process finishes smoothly, and the projection automatically disappears. The only unknown answer will be revealed when she wakes up. Liam looks at Caleb, who's beside him. With how he now observes things, he can't say which is more agonizing, forgetting someone or being forgotten by them. In the dark, warm quagmire, the vicious substance slowly dissolves. My body regains a sense of boundless weightlessness. My consciousness stirs as sunlight filters through blurred vision. Oh my gosh. We're at the beginning. Gentle footsteps echo outside. They're followed by the soft creak of a door opening. After a long while trying to place it, I finally recognize the face before me. It seems to emerge from a hazy water-like blur. Caleb. Sunlight spills a reddish golden hue into the room. As I lift my hand to shield my eyes from the glaring sunset outside, Caleb leans in to block the light for me.
I asked the association if you could take sick leave. So, whether you want to rest at home or walk outside for the next few days, I'll be by your side.
My head feels heavy and foggy as if I've lost some important fragment of memory. Our eyes meet, and slowly my gaze drifts to the red mark peeking out from beneath his cuff. A bite mark? Caleb, what happened? Caleb slightly purses his lips. For a fleeting moment, his expression appearing peculiar. It's as if he's fallen into an abyss of sorrow.
It's okay if you can't remember for now. Eat something first.
He helps me up, tucks a pillow behind my waist, and sits on the edge of the bed. He's holding a bowl of porridge. The milk porridge is thick and fragrant, perfectly cooked. I take a couple of spoonfuls from his hand before turning my face away.
You don't want more?
I don't feel like it. He gives a slight nod and stands up. As he turns around, a sudden wave of anxiety hits me. I immediately grasp the fabric of his waist. Where are you going?
I'm just putting the bowl away.
Caleb sits back down and opens his mouth, like he's about to speak. Yet he chooses to remain silent.
Don't worry. I won't go anywhere until you fall asleep.
The shadows under his eyes betray a night of sleeplessness. He gently brushes away the stray strands of my hair.
Feeling sleepy?
Every cell in my brain feels drained. It's like I fought for so long, still I shake my head. I don't want to rest unless you help me fall asleep. I have a hunch that when I wake up, he'll no longer be the Caleb who only belongs to me. I curl up against his chest. After a moment, he wraps his arms around me, resting his chin on my shoulder and letting out a soft, tender laugh.
Sure. Should I tell you a bedtime story, or do something else?
No bedtime story. You've never been a good storyteller since we were kids. Besides, I don't want to hear any more of your stories. A cool silver light glimmers near my neck. The metal pendant gently swings back and forth. Struggling to keep my eyes open, I cradle the pendant in my palm. When you come back, do you still remember what this gift represents?
You hoped I'd come back safe and sound from every mission, right?
Back then, I thought, if you could just return to me, I wouldn't ask for anything else. A fleeting emotion passes through Caleb's eyes. I look up and tenderly touch his face. Caleb, you'll always stay by my side, right?
Yes.
Then should I put a bell around your neck? I trace my fingers along his neck. They brush over his Adam's apple before pressing down on the center of his collarbone. It'll be right here, that way you won't be able to escape.
When you held my hand that day for the first time, I knew I'd never get away from you.
He leans down and kisses my forehead with the tenderness to show how much he cherishes me.
So don't be afraid. No matter what happens, I'll be here for you. Now, time to sleep.
I smile, settle into a comfortable position in his arms, and close my eyes, holding his hand gently. What Caleb doesn't know is that the dissolution of the touring ship didn't completely erase those memories. Even long after, I still remember every absurd story I told him during those 3 days. The misplaced kiss amidst the clouds, the searing warmth of his skin. However, this little secret only exists in those 3 days. It must wither and decay, buried in the soil, even if we were to fall and get devoured in that dense jungle. The amusement park is closed. Dreams are meant to remain within the realm of dreams. No one has visited the small garden behind the shelter in a long time. The young man wearing a uniform pushes open the iron gate and walks along the desolate path into the expanse of plants. His leather boots step over a toppled seesaw in the weeds. In the distance, within his view, a girl sitting on a paper crane. Her back faces him. She swings her legs over it when she turns to him. The rusty springs beneath her emit a jarring, screeching note. Caleb, you're here. The side of the elephant slide was etched with uneven marks of their height as they grew up. One row on the left, one on the right. His marks always sit a bit higher than hers.
I'm the older one, so I'll always be taller. And because I'm older than you, my hands are bigger. I'll start school earlier too. I'll always be a step ahead. That's just how it is.
The boy's voice fades away. He looks up and sees his 11-year-old self climbing that tall tree near the building for the first time. He sits at the treetop. He draws out a paper crane from the window using his evol and brings the girl from inside the building to the window's edge. He times it perfectly. He peeks out from under the window sill and extends his hand toward her. He asks if she wants to come along with him. This abandoned place with overgrown vegetation is their first paradise. But the wind sweeps away those lingering echoes of the past. Hide and seek is over, and she appears before him from the swirling darkness. Caleb, how come you're always the first one to find me? Her voice pierces his heart like a jolt of electricity, a lingering affliction he can never quite heal. It's also the source of his fears, his retreats, and his darkest thoughts. She stands at the end of everything, drawing him in. Gravity warps into a black hole around her. He clasps his right hand, his right arm, as though offering a solemn gesture of devotion.
Maybe it's because I love you a little more than you realize.
In the zero-gravity lab, the young man's body floats under the cold light, suspended in an almost primordial state. Tiny currents of electricity crackle in the air and slither into his mechanical right arm.
The partial modification that's been completed is still under the Turing chip's control. However, we can't access the chip's records of Caleb's memories.
Has the chip been damaged?
Despite Caleb not being the perfect subject, they've sacrificed a great deal to obtain him. If the Turing chip in his body suffers any damage, the long-hidden plan will be in vain.
The chip's integrity is at 93%. It appears he's purposefully sealed his brain rather than damaging it. The patrol data we input disappears whenever it reaches a specific area. It doesn't get rejected or intercepted. It vanishes as if...
It's being pulled into a black hole.
Yes.
How troublesome.
Humans are inherently flawed, making us indecisive and hesitant. Only by erasing these weaknesses can we become invincible. If we don't tackle this area, we'll never be able to achieve a complete modification to him. Is there another way?
The Enforcer inputs another string of characters on the control panel. After a moment.
Found it. This area was encrypted with multiple layers, so there must be a key to unlock it. There's likely only one key, and it's probably a one-time use.
The old man nods, giving one last glance at his great work before turning to leave the room.
Then let's find it, no matter the cost.
I was totally speechless after the myth, and I just stopped the recording. So when I was doing the myth initially, I thought something different was happening, and I was like a bit confused. But now I know what was actually going on with like the Turing chip and Caleb. I know now that Caleb, well, he was either pretending the whole time, or he like pretending that he forgot, or he initially did, his memory was initially wiped, but then he slowly regained his memories with MC. So knowing that now, it was even harder to watch the myth while I was editing this, and I actually got really emotional while watching it a second time, especially the memory, like the 5-star memory of when MC is about to get the Turing chip removed, and it's like he knows that, well, he's thinking that the 3 days that they just spent is like never gonna happen after she gets the Turing chip removed. Like, that's what he's thinking, and it's like that was their dream of not having to face the realities of their world and like the world being against them. They were just like in a nice dream where they could just be together. It's just so devastating, like, and it's more devastating now because he is thinking that she doesn't remember those 3 days, but she actually does, but she doesn't tell him that she remembers. And it made me see his character differently, like I had hoped, because I already liked him from the story, like from the main chapters, but this gives me a different perspective. So I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, that's it.